You asked, how do I use time and energy more wisely? Well, today I have some brain-based principles, some research-based proven tips for you about how you can use your time and energy the most wisely to get the most done. So for this episode about how to use time and energy wisely, I went to the research on highly successful people, people that are definitely using their time and energy wisely because they've accomplished a lot. As I would find, there are about 8, one of my favorite numbers, about 8 pieces of advice that I'm going to relay to you now. So one of the top pieces of advice for using time and energy wisely was this. It was to start your day with the toughest thing on your list. Most of us do the opposite, right? We have something that we want to do today or something that's really hard or challenging, but we start with the easy, trivial tasks, thinking to ourselves, we're going to work our way up to the bigger thing. Here's the thing. All the research shows that what you do is you decrease your energy, your willpower, your stamina, all of those things can go to zero. And actually, many of us never get to the big thing. Or if we do, it's not until much later with not our most freshest, best self. So this piece of advice is to start your day with the main priority for the day. Do the toughest thing in your day first. The next piece of advice is to start early. There's a whole series of research books that talk about the fact that those who get up earlier in their day are actually more productive. There's a lot of reasons for this. And as an example, there are new books out, one by Robin Sharma called The 5 a.m. Club, another by Pang called Rest. But what they say is that throughout history, people like Darwin and Kennedy and Churchill, they all notoriously got up really early to start their day. And so the earlier you can get up, the more likelihood you have of starting your day with the toughest thing potentially, but starting your day with your best energy and your best brained self. There's another reason. Those who get up earlier don't have the distraction of other people. And so those of us who start our days earlier typically get more done because they get to focus on their own priorities, their own task list, the thing they want to start with when no one else is asking them to do anything. The next piece of advice comes from high performance people, and it's this. It's to take more breaks. One of the things that brain scientists have shown as an example is that our brains work according to something called an ultradian cycle. And on my channel, I've talked about honoring your ultradian cycle and why that's so important. But what we found is that people who actually plan their breaks and plan what to do on their breaks don't just use breaks as rest or as recovery, but they use it as prep for the work that they will do. And so highly successful, highly performative people make sure to use their time, but also to plan their time such that they know there's a break coming, and their breaks are very helpful toward making them more performative, more productive when they are back at the job. The next piece of advice that highly successful people seem to have all done is this. They set boundaries. They didn't give people undue access to their time, to their attention, to their energy. They make sure that they have time for them to get what they want done with their freshest energy, with the most bulk of their time, so that other people aren't necessarily infringing on their most valuable resources, things like time, energy, willpower, stamina. If what you can do is set those boundaries, then you are at least allowing that you're able to get done what you want to get done, and secondary is what other people want you to get done. The next piece of advice from really successful people was to watch for things that unwittingly, unknowingly suck your time, attention, and energy. This could be anything. It could be television shows you end up binge watching. It could be social media. It could be things. It could be pets, it could be anything. But the idea is that if what you do is keep a journal or a log of the things that really start to take up your time, those are the things you might think about reordering or reallocating your time to or toward. Here's an example. In my life, what we found was that if, as an example, my physical space was really cluttered, there was lots of stuff in my house or in my office, I found that this took up my time. I had to organize it, clean it, maintain it, procure it, get rid of it. So what I ended up doing was really purging my home and my office space of a lot of things. And on my channel, there is another video about the value in having a clean workspace, which we'll talk about more. But this is an example from my life of how things can really take up a lot of time and energy. Watch for the things that unwittingly are taking or using your time and your energy. The next thing you want to make sure to do if you want to use your time and energy better is to eliminate distractions. Distractions can be in the form of anything. It can be email that goes off all day. It can be colleagues or coworkers who come into your office. It can be kids running around asking you for something. It's anything that really allows that you're distracted throughout your day. It's very hard to be productive, to use your time and your energy wisely when other people and other things can continually distract you. In fact, what the brain science shows as an example is that when other things distract you, it takes a while to get back to the task at hand. That's something we call a refractory period, and it can last up to 15 minutes. So if you want to make sure to use your time and energy wisely, make sure that you are eliminating distractions and you're giving yourself unrequited time to do the work you know you need to get done. Another thing that really highly successful people do to manage their time and energy is to plan tomorrow tonight. I've talked about this quite a bit on my channel, but the idea is that if you know what you want to accomplish tomorrow, you've prioritized your list, you've figured out what those things are, what you are allowed to do then is as you sleep, your brain goes to work for you so that when you wake up, you've got this really good idea of how your day should be structured, how long things are going to take, how much time and energy things are likely to need, and you are much better and more psychologically prepared to take on your day and use your time and energy as wisely as possible. Finally, one of the things that really successful people seem to do is they do a scheduled task list. Now, what we mean by that is that most of us have a to-do list or a checklist. That is base case. But if you want to level that up the way that highly successful people do, what you'll do is you'll actually take that to-do list and put it into a schedule. This allows for a couple of things. One is that you properly allocate how much time different tasks are going to take. Second, you know the end, that there is an end to any given task. And third, what it allows is that you keep yourself on track throughout your day. Whereas if all you have is a to-do list or a checklist, you could theoretically be anywhere in that task list and you wouldn't know how much time you need, how much time is left, or how much you've really gotten done. So if what you want to do is level up your checklist or your to-do list, put it into a schedule. Thanks so much for watching today. Tell us in the comments below, what is something that you are going to use from this list that's going to help you manage your time and your energy? Please subscribe. We have so many more videos just like this. We'll see you tomorrow.